The story begins with a small village in South Africa where the villagers are farming. A man suffers a heart attack, killing him instantly. His brother, a farmer, was also present. The farmer is deeply saddened by his brother's death. Afterward, the villagers perform all the rituals associated with his brother's death, and the farmer returns home to his home, where he lives with his wife, daughter, and son. His daughter, William, is very intelligent. William is fond of repairing radios, so he's always fixing the radios of his friends and neighbors. When he goes to school, the principal lines William and all the other students up and announces that if any of them don't pay their tuition, they'll be expelled. His father's financial situation is dire, so he hasn't paid his tuition in a while. William's class teacher, who has a crush on his sister, is also a friend. He tells William that he must pay his fees quickly, or he'll be expelled from school. But he knows his father doesn't have enough money to pay. He also desperately wants to study. He has a passion for it, while his mother wants William to work in the fields with him. When William is studying at night, it's getting dark and he asks his mother for oil to light the lamp. But his mother refuses, saying, "I can't give you oil to study. We need to save it for household chores, which are essential." The next day, after school, William goes to a junkyard that sells a lot of electrical and metal items. There, he finds a lamp and a battery. He decides to use these items to light a bulb for his night studies. The next day, some people come to the village and tell the villagers they'll give them money, but in return, they want to cut down the trees in their fields. But the village head refuses. He says, "These trees protect our fields from floods. If we cut them down, our fields will be flooded." William's dad agrees, but all the other farmers sign a paper which states that they can cut trees from their fields. Because the village is facing severe poverty and everyone needs money, the work of cutting trees from the fields begins quickly. That night, William tells his dad, "Dad, I need money for my school fees." But his dad says, "Son, I don't have the money right now. I can't pay your fees. You'll have to wait until the harvest. Only then will I have the money." This upsets William. The next day, when he goes to school with his friend, his class teacher's bicycle is parked there. It has a light attached to it. William needs a battery for that light. But he discovers that the light doesn't have a battery, but rather a mechanism that turns on the light by turning a wheel. He can't understand how the light is on. When William goes to school, he's expelled along with all the other children who haven't paid their fees for the past several months. He's deeply distressed and desperately wants to continue, but he can't see any way out. Meanwhile, it starts raining, flooding William's father's fields, destroying his entire crop. Seeing this, his father becomes very worried because he doesn't have enough food for long. So he goes to a friend and tells him that he has some money. He wants to use it to save his trees so his fields can be protected from water. His friend then says, "A drought is coming soon. There's a flood in Kenya too. Don't spend the money you have right now. It will be useful in your time of need." And William's dad doesn't get any help there, so he returns disappointed. Soon, summer arrives, and the land is completely dry. There's no water, good or bad, to be used for the fields. And that's where William goes to the junkyard again. There, he finds 2 batteries. But these batteries are completely dead. He wants to somehow repair them and turn on the pump he found earlier so that his dad's fields can still get water for their crops during the summer. He sneaks out to school and finishes class. After graduating, he goes to his class teacher and asks, "How does the light on your bicycle work without a battery?" The teacher tells him it's an electric dynamo, but William doesn't have enough money to buy one. So he asks his teacher, "Can I make it?" The teacher says, "Yes, there are plenty of books like this in the library, and you can read them to make a dynamo." But because William hasn't paid his fees, he's now barred from entering the library. So he tells his teacher, "I know a secret of yours. You come to visit my sister, don't you? If you want me to keep this secret, I'll have to get you permission to go to the library." The teacher agrees, takes William to the librarian, and grants him permission. As he wanders through the library, he discovers a large number of books on energy, which he can use to build an electric dynamo. He's overjoyed. A few days later, the president arrives in the village. The village chief explains his need for money and explains the village's shortcomings. However, the president's men take the chief to the back and severely reprimand him, claiming they only wanted the people's votes. They don't care about their problems or shortcomings. William's father understands that he must do what he needs to do. He's not going to get any help, which makes him very upset. He goes to his farm to harvest his crops, which are very scarce this time. He only has 2 months' worth of food, and he doesn't know where to get food after 2 months. William's father then removes the tin roof from his house and goes to the market to sell them. The radio announces that the price of food grains is going to rise drastically, especially food items, because the country is so short. This upsets everyone. But the truth is, it was all a ploy by the government, as corruption is rampant. Corrupt officials make money by lying to people. William's father joins those who are shouting slogans and holding rallies against the government. While he's gone, 2 trucks carrying grain arrive in their village. The government has sent them to the village, offering them at very low prices. William's mother pays him to go get the grain. When he leaves, some men come to their house and steal the grain they had stored from their fields. Now they have no grain left, leaving his mother in grief and crying. A little while later, William returns with some rations, and now William's father is also there. She says, "Now we can only eat once a day. This way, we'll be able to survive on this ration for a few days." William's entire family is helpless because neither the government is providing any assistance nor is it raining. One night, William goes to his sister and says, "I know you love my teacher. I want you to borrow the dynamo from his bicycle. With this, I'll run the motor pump so we can pump water to the fields." His sister doesn't respond. But the next day, when William returns with wood, he finds that his sister has left home. His parents are distraught and crying. When he goes into the room, he finds that his sister left him the dynamo that was attached to his teacher's bicycle. This means that his sister ran away with his teacher. Now, William and his friends connect this dynamo to a windmill and play the radio, which makes everyone very happy. After this, they all go to the junkyard, where they collect a lot of supplies. Now, William needs a larger windmill to run the water motor, and for this, he needs a bicycle. So he goes to his dad and shows him how to operate a radio with his small windmill and dynamo. But his dad doesn't understand. Then William tells his dad, "I want to build a bigger windmill. It will power a water motor, allowing us to irrigate our fields in all seasons. But for that, I need your bicycle. Once you give it to me, you'll never be able to ride it again because it will have to be cut up." Hearing this, William's dad becomes very angry. They destroy his windmill and say, "You do all this useless work. From today on, you'll work in the fields with me." He is forced to work in the fields with his father. Now William's father and the entire village are suffering from hunger. When he returns home, he sees that all his friends are leaving the village. So he tells them, "We have to stay here. We will build a big windmill that will provide water to our fields in every season and allow us to grow crops in every season." William goes to his father again with all his friends. He and his friends ask William's father for his bicycle, but he scolds them and sends them away. Then they learn that William's grandmother has died, which deeply saddens his mother. William's dog also dies because it hadn't eaten in days and died of hunger. William is devastated by his dog's death and breaks down in tears. His father also realized they had to find a way out. So he went to William and said, "I can't see any way out. If you think you can pump water using a motor, you can borrow my bicycle, which is what you need."